Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network and another episode of Prop Party. That's right, Week 16 Prop Party. We're talking alts, anytime touchdowns, parlays, and of course, a Thursday night football same game parlay in just 1 minute. That's right. Happy Thursday. Happy week 16. I cannot believe it. We're, of course, every Thursday at Prop Party, we talk through alts, anytime touchdowns, parlays, talk Thursday night football. And yeah, I'm excited. It's obviously, if you're still in the best ball playoffs, the semifinals are this week. So sweating out a few teams still, and that's exciting too. So Tyler, I'll go to you first. How are you doing, and what are you thinking about this week 16 slate?
I'm good, Meg. I mean, coming off a little bit of a rough week. Winston didn't want to do his job last week. He even lost his whole job to DTR.
He lost his job. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But we're going to bounce back this week. I got a little fun little exercise I think we could do right at the beginning. It's about your guy Darnold too, but we'll go to Steve before we get into that.
Okay. Hey, I like a good fun exercise. That's fun. Okay, Steve. Yeah. I know you're, of course, sweating out best ball this week, but what else are you thinking about week 16 here?
Yeah, no. It's obviously an interesting week with 2 Saturday games that lead into the weird Wednesday Christmas Day games. But it's we just lost 2 more starting quarterbacks, so there's a lot of interesting things with that, and I'm sure we'll get to some of that later. But yeah, we have some teams with a lot to play for still, other teams who they seem to still be playing, like the Jets, who maybe don't have anything to play for, but pride, and last week they played for pride. And then we have teams where we do really have to wonder about their motivation and stuff like that. So it's a weird time of the season.
Yeah, very. And then, like you said, it's a wild week with 2 Saturday games into the Sunday, Monday, and then it goes right into Christmas Day, which Tyler's team is playing both Saturday and Christmas Day. So it's a busy time. It's the holidays, and then it's a busy time. There's constant games, which I love, but keeping up with content. But we will keep up with the content. We will have Dub Club picks for tonight right after the show. So check out the link on the bottom or on the homepage. We'll have Tyler and Spreads picks up for week 16 free on fanspeak.com. We will have you go to the Dub Club link. You can get a free week. Try it out. If you like it, it's just $45 for the NFL season, rest of the NFL season. That's it. But we'll keep up with everything. We'll have the Saturday picks. We'll have the Sunday picks. We'll have Christmas Day picks. We'll roll every game day. We've got picks for you. Alts, anytime touchdowns, any parlays we'd like, of course. So this is like a first look show, looking through first look of what's standing out to us. And then, of course, we land on things of our individual bets, and then, of course, some parlays that we send out to Dub Club. So be sure to check that out. Tyler, I need to hear the fun exercise. I'm very intrigued.
No, I was at work last night, and I was just running this through my head. If he's like, how far in the playoffs does he have to go to keep this job and get paid?
Darnold?
Championship game?
You mean by the Vikings? Because he's going to get paid by
He's
somebody.
going to get paid regardless.
We're in
talking about
quarterback desperation.
If the Vikings are going to buckle down and say there's $30 million on the table, we're going to pay this guy. Is it NFC Championship or bust?
I'd say NFC Championship.
The big question in the room is you're going to pay him like these top quarterbacks. Is he good enough to win you a Super Bowl, or are you going to basically lock yourself into mediocrity for the next how many years signing him? Or do you try and trade him right at the draft? I don't know how the contract's set up, if you could even do this, but what do the Raiders do if the phone rings when the first pick's on the board and they go, hey, we got this quarterback who played really good last year. You want him for the first pick? They run JJ McCarthy back out there and just add Travis Hunter to the offense. I think there's pathways where Minnesota can do something. Yeah, the big question is, if he can't win you, if he's not your quarterback that can win you a Super Bowl, why do you sign him to all this money?
Right. Yeah. Tim, always good to see Tim in chat. Oh, by the way, always good to see Jamie in chat. Thank you very much for that, or for joining us. And of course, your comments. So Tim says Super Bowl. Team around him is so good, got to perform. KOC would make McCarthy really good too. KOC is the real MVP. Yeah, I have to agree that Darnold and KOC have like a perfect, marriage here. Like, and I would worry as another team. I do actually think, and it's why I saw the potential with Darnold with Kevin O'Connell. But you do have to worry if you were the Raiders, like you have to have that right offensive piece. I'm not saying it cannot be anybody else besides KOC, but it would have to be another, I think, really good offensive mind, another good offensive coordinator that he'd be set up with. As far as the Vikings, yeah, I'd say NFC Championship. What do you think, Steve?
So
and then it's like how long the contract would be, because they do have the, how long are you kind of?
I honestly think it's less about how far you go and more about how well he plays in the playoffs. If he has a great game and they get bounced by Tampa or something like that, who's a hot team and, whatever, and it's just their Vikings defense just is terrible on the back end. I don't know if you blame it if he goes out there and throws for 330 and, 4 touchdowns, but Baker just puts up a crazy game or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's going to play a lot into it. He's got to play well. And, as to your thing, they could franchise him and then try and trade him, some type of thing, which I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do. But I don't think it's going to be anything. I think they either keep him or do that. I don't think they just let him walk and get a 3rd round comp pick,
Right. But if he signed a contract, wouldn't he likely want like a no trade clause or something?
He's just going to want the quarterback market contract.
Yeah.
And that's just something I don't know if a 1 year of production after everything that's come before this, you can give him $30 million.
Yeah. I mean, I think you look at honestly, it's a very similar situation to Baker. Baker had shown a little bit more in Cleveland than Darnold ever showed in New York. But, Baker went out, took them to the playoffs, advanced around, and got paid. I mean, did he get anywhere near what, the top of the market was with, the re-signings of some of the big names or like what even Cousins got? No, but he got paid. He got really good money.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of the framework, probably a little bit more than that. But yeah, that's probably the framework.
Yeah.
And then the last part of my question, if he does leave, what teams do you think could line up and come get him?
I think it has to be a team that is set up with the right infrastructure.
Because I think there's 2 teams that could show up in this picture that aren't in it right now, and that would be Seattle and the Rams. Seattle kind of goes away from Geno.
If Stafford retired,
Geno's 35. He's on his last year of his contract. Yeah. This could easily be where they pull the plug. And Sam Howell did not look like the guy when he got in there against Green Bay.
No, that was rough. Yeah,
definitely not the Jets, like Tim said. Even though they might be going away from Rodgers,
right?
But the Rams are the other interesting one, because if Stafford retires, if I'm Darnold and Minnesota's kind of playing that game, we kind of want McCarthy. I'm running to LA to play for McVay.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's because it's a similar situation. It's a perfect marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the slight dark horse that stays in my head. I don't think this happens, but what if the 49ers just don't want to give Purdy all this money?
I think
they look at Darnold. They're like, you were in our system. You played well. You're coming back. We have a good offensive line. We're going to give you 25. And we're going to have this highly incentivized to where if you get all these, you're going to get $40 million and be paid like a top quarterback. If San Fran's cheap, I could see them pulling that one.
I don't think Darnold will need to accept something unless he really just is terrible these last couple games and in the playoffs. Like he's going to, because the team, here's the thing. This is unlike last year where Baker did get paid. That was a great quarterback draft. This is an awful quarterback draft.
Right.
Let's see 2 first rounders.
Got the leverage.
Even if they go like 1, 2 or in the top 5, like Sador Sanders and Cam Ward are not exactly, May.
Yeah, I feel bad for Spread or Guy Spread. I feel bad for
Spread might get lucky and he might get the only good one.
So
who do you think?
I think Shador's going to be good. Yeah, I think Cam Ward could be hit. Cam Ward's either going to be really good or really bad.
He needs the right system. He needs the right system.
Is he like Anthony Richardson, like raw?
No. I'd say he's.
I don't watch a ton of college.
Kind of like Jordan Love with the way he throws the ball. Like he's going to gunsling it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Honestly, he reminds me a lot of like Geno. Young Geno.
Yeah, Jamie said which quarterback's going to be ruined by the Browns next year.
I don't know about you, Steve, but I'm not fully out on Quinn Ewers yet. I don't know if he's coming out, but
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll come out, but I just don't. I mean, I don't think he's going to be like a top 10 pick or anything. He's like
no,
the type
he'd
of
be a
guy.
second round guy. But
Yeah,
I'm not fully out on our guy yet. I
Brad, we
think
were
he can
just
play in the
talking
NFL.
about you. We were
yeah. I
just
mean, there's
talking.
a couple of those types of quarterbacks, like Ewers being one of them. A few others that we'll see who comes out, who doesn't. But it's definitely not like last year. Because the other thing with last year, we have to remember and look at. Now Michael Penix is in. We had all these like 5th, 6th-year seniors who could hit the ground running. And
You talked about that. Tyler talked
Yeah.
about that a lot, that it was set up for these guys because they had played so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like McCarthy's the one guy who didn't play a lot. And then he, of course, is the one who gets injured. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see next year. And that's why a team like the Raiders, like the Giants, could just offer him like a Darnold. If it's not a trade involved, they'll just offer him a boatload of money.
Yeah.
Baker would have gotten paid this by anyone this offseason.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got to get to it. We got some people in here. First time, long time. Good to see everybody in here. We got our guy Spread in here. Spread, we're rooting for you to land some good quarterback, whoever it is. But good to see everybody in here. Let's start talking alts. Week 16. Tyler, what are you eyeing up in the alt market? Again, this is an early look.
So my first one, I'm going to go to the Saturday game, Meg. And
Yeah, let's talk
the game that I
Saturday.
feel like I have the best feel on. That's going to be the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game.
Yeah. Okay.
They like to use these tight ends against us, and Isaiah Likely always has big games against us. You look at his game logs recently, he hasn't done anything. His last big game came against Pittsburgh. He had 5 catches for 45 yards. I think he can replicate that stat line here because he's just one of those tight ends that matches up weird with the Steelers defense.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers have a bad habit of leaving linebackers in coverage against fast guys. Can't tell you how many times last week I seen Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown running down the field and Orlando Roberts is chasing after them. What are we doing? Now we get a tight end that has some speed and can get separation. His line is 25.5. 40 plus is plus 250. 50's 4-1. 60's plus 650. And 70's 11-1. I don't think he gets to 70, but I think he can get to 60. We know Lamar can find him on the deep ball. Last week it was all Bateman. I think it could be a Likely week this week, so I'm going to be playing some Isaiah Likely.
That's interesting you say that, and I just read just before coming on here that Bateman's in a walking boot.
Yeah.
So something's going on with that. Someone made a comment, quote retweeted, like, could it be Deontay Johnson time for those who still have him alive in best ball, which, by the way, saw up at the very beginning, Tim went Pitt Packers stack for playoff best ball. So he's rooting for Pickens, Freiermuth, Russ to get him through to the Super Bowl there. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure Steelers are, I haven't gotten too much into the playoff best ball streets, but I'm sure Steelers are like an absolute value stack that, hey, they could go all the way. So I don't mind that at all. No, I like that, Tyler. Anything else you like?
The other one I was looking at, I mean, of course, we got to target this Raiders defense. I mean, Brian Thomas is just going to get pelted with the ball.
Yes, I am obsessed with Brian Thomas Jr. Yes.
His line is, well, fun little story about him before we get into his line. The Chargers drafted at 5 this past year. Yeah, they took Joe Alt, but guess who was second on their board? Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
They had that one right.
Yeah, they did have that one right. Yeah.
So looking for his line, I mean, there's so much stuff open on DK. It just takes forever to scroll through this.
I know. But
yeah,
and because it's a 4:00 game. Yeah. So
you can get plus money at, I think, 70 or 80. I saw.
Yeah, 80's plus 115, 90's plus 170, and 100's plus 240.
Yeah.
I think he can crush this game. So you play him all the way up to 100.
I like that. I did like a lotto last week, and I had BTJ for 100 and I had Rodgers just in a good matchup against Jaguars for 300. He just missed that. And then I had another one or two that had missed.
And then it's not an alt. We're just going to play the under on this prop.
Okay.
The Jerry Jeudy experience is over.
Oh, that quarterback's going to just
taking the under
everything
64.5.
Yeah.
Unless he somehow catches a slant, gets loose, and runs this away, or finds a busted coverage and DTR sees him. DTR's not going to pelt him like Winston did.
Yeah.
No.
He might throw the ball for 150 yards on Sunday against a terrible Cincinnati defense.
I know. It's so sad, right? I mean, like, we all love Jameis Winston experience, both from like the person and the fantasy and, sports betting side of it. Like, he is just so fun in every realm, every form, and they just took it away. They don't care about our fantasy. They don't care about our props. They don't give a crap.
It's so fun, Meg, but I do play Jerry Jeudy in Work Fantasy League this week, so it is fun to see the only guy that guy has go down.
Oh, okay. So you're going against Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm on the under there. If he beats me, he beats me. The only way I'm worried here, big time, outside of like those 2 ways we lose, is if DTR is that bad that halfway through this game,
Yeah.
you see Winston trot back out onto the field.
That's
Because
the only-
that was the first Watson game being out. They started
They put-
DTR, and
yeah, that's right.
He
That's
got
right.
hurt or whatever, and
Yeah.
Winston came in.
Yeah. Before I go to Steve in chat, just put everything I love on Mike Evans over 69.5, McBride over 67.5 ladder is vet move or Cole for Christmas. I say vet move. Tim D says Mike Evans, the gift that keeps on giving. Like the Christmas vacation line, that there, Clark is the gift that keeps on giving the whole year. So yeah, I mean, he needs now what, 80 some, he's pacing for now 80 some because he had such a great game. So to get that 1,000 yards.
There was an interview with Baker too. He said he cares about it more than Mike Evans does.
I saw that. I saw that. I love that. That's so great.
Which is what I love to hear.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So yeah, absolutely. Love.
George Pickens was just rolled out for Saturday.
Is it official?
That's what
Okay.
it sounded like,
Yeah. I knew
For
it
our
was
guys
announced,
in the chat, especially our guy Spread, don't go betting that Mike Tomlin underdog spot because the offense can't move the ball.
That is sad. It's a shame because Pickens is key to that offense. I just don't understand how they never activated Roman Wilson. Maybe it's because I drafted him.
I'm convinced that's not a real person. Dude's just not even real. He's not a real person.
How?
We drafted a fake person.
I don't get it. I don't get it. There was so much hype before he got injured in preseason. How is he not?
It's
like,
either A, he's not real, B, he can't play football, or C, both of the above.
I spilled water on myself. No, I literally don't get it. When your receivers are Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin, Pickens is hurt.
What do you need to do?
But yeah, Mike Williams cannot get going, and then Roman Wilson is not real. Yeah, I was all over Roman Wilson this season. I thought he's going to slide right into that Deontay Johnson role. He's coming from Michigan, pro style offense. Like I'm thinking, okay, this is like lining up perfectly. And I can't believe the injury derailed it that much. And it doesn't even seem like the Pittsburgh beat reports. I don't know if you feel this way, Tyler.
So they showed him on Hard Knocks, and somebody said, "Get him off the screen right now."
Yeah. I mean, come on, he's desperately needed. And it's just, he and Mike Williams are just ghosts on that team. And it's such a shame because
at least Mike Williams could put a uniform on and get on the field, though.
Yeah, that's true. But it still sucks that he's not even getting that many snaps. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like Spread. I love Mike Tomlin so much, but I'm a little confused by that. Like thinking that you're going to be able to win with, Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson. So
hey, they got Ben Skoranek also. And
Ben Skoranek, don't forget. Yeah, Ben Skoranek. Yeah.
Unless we're bringing prime Tom Brady back, these little white receivers aren't going to work.
Exactly. Well, you nailed that. That's a bummer about Pickens because that would have made that game a lot more fun on Saturday. So
I typed in his name on Twitter, and the first thing that popped up was a missing persons picture for Roman Wilson.
Yeah, it should be.
I think Meg created it.
I probably created it because I drafted him way too much, wrote about him way too much. I thought it made way too much sense. And then once I heard it wasn't like a season-ending injury in training camp, I was like, whew, okay, he may not start the year, but I'm sure by like week 4 I'll get him. And then it's just been a ghost all year long. And like the B reports don't even seem to talk about it. It's the wildest thing to me. Watch next year he goes out and goes nuts or something. Oh, yeah. It's going to like tilt my face off. So anyways, okay. So I wrote down Mike Evans too, so thank you for the people in chat. You're right. Put all your Christmas.
Another fun fact about this Baltimore game.
Yeah.
This is the first time Lamar is going to play in front of a crowd against Pittsburgh in Baltimore.
Yeah,
that's wild because 2020, but he's missed that many games against Pittsburgh.
He's been hurt a few times, and the other times they fell on week 18s to where he was sitting and he didn't play.
Yeah, last year he sat.
That is wild. That is really crazy. That's nuts. All right, Steve, what do you like? Tyler's calls here added Mike Evans, of course. What else do you like as early look here?
Well, BTJ was my favorite, but I will go. Speaking of these rookie or new quarterback changes, give me Drake London with now Michael Penix, and I think they're gonna. This is a get right spot against Giants' terrible secondary, just terrible team in general.
Yeah,
and I think they're using this as like a preseason game for Michael Penix. I mean, they know like, okay, maybe we can win games really running the football with Kirk Cousins, all that kind of stuff. But they need to see they can open up this offense again. And that's going to be what they're going to have to do. So give me Drake London. I just lost the prop. Here we go. Drake London, 70 plus is plus 115, 80 plus 165, 90, 90 is 2 plus 240, and you can even take it up to 100 if you want. But he should get the most targets. I honestly don't mind Darnell Mooney just because, honestly, Michael Penix is a great deep ball thrower.
Yeah.
Mooney fits his game quite a bit. So, I wouldn't go as aggressive because he just won't get the same number of targets. And now they just, they took off some of the props.
That's a good early look. I mean, again, we're just early look here. We don't need the exact numbers. We're early look at the alts for London and Mooney. You especially like London, so I like that call. What else do you like?
Next one I'm going to point to is, talking narrative street, talking resurgence. Let's turn back the clock to a 2020 and go Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams at 80 plus is plus 115, 90 plus 165, 100 plus 230. We saw it last week. Rodgers is kind of in this like pissed off mode. And, I just think the Rams secondary is their weak point.
I think as long as the pressure can't get home, if he gets, if they do get the pressure home, it could get dicey. But if they don't get the pressure home, I think he could have a big game, and they could have a big game.
So I like that. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit more balanced and Garrett Wilson could get there this time also. He had a great first drive and then kind of disappeared after that.
Oh, well, can I interrupt you and say that your parlay that I put then on the Dub Club sheet, Steve's parlays, Tyler's parlay hit the week before when we get to the parlay section. Steve's parlay I put on the Dub Club sheet and loved it, and it was tracking perfectly. It was Rodgers 2 touchdowns, Devontae 80, Garrett Wilson 80, right? Just those 3 things, I believe.
Yeah.
And Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah. So Brian Thomas Jr. sales passed it. Obviously, Devontae didn't get anything in the first half, but sales passed in the second half. Rodgers gets 3 touchdowns, so sales passed that. Yeah. And after having that first, drive or two and getting, 50 some yard, or what did he ended up with like 56 yards, but he got most of it in the first half, and like Devontae kind of hogged it in the second half. It's just needed a little bit more to get the 80 for Garrett Wilson. So that was so tilting, but a good parlay nonetheless. Very, very, very close. So anyways, Rodgers and Devontae.
And so Rodgers, you get plus money at +2 at 250 yards. You can do 275, even 300. I just think this could be another game. I don't think they're really going to be able to run the ball. Breece Hall's not 100%. And, Rams are, they're probably better against the run, a little better against the run. But you can get, if you want to go up to 300, it's plus 350 for Rodgers. That's a nice number.
That's why I put it in the lotto last week. Yeah.
And then the final, they took the prop off, but I like James Conner rushing or rush receiving against Carolina. James Conner the last 3 years has been late November, December, just absolutely crushing it late in the season. He did these last 2 games. I don't see why it's going to stop this game against the Carolina team. Cardinals still have a lot to play for. So I expect them to try and, come out and get a big win. And Connor's their guy, like McBride is the receiving threat. Connor's the overall guy. So that's where I want to go. But I just checked and they took the prop off. So I'm not sure what you'll get it at, but he's a guy I want to push.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I like those. So far, again, we have likely Brian Thomas Jr., Judy under, Mike Evans, and then these are all the rest of them outside of Judy. Mike Evans, London, Mooney, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, James Conner. I'm going to just add a couple onto that, which makes me think I should like Mac Jones, but God, that feels weird. Against the Raiders, Brenton Strange, he's put up big numbers without Evan Ingram. You're getting minus 105. I don't know what FanDuel has it at, but shop it around 40 plus. And then I think you go to 50 plus 160. I had that in a parlay that just that his 40 plus, obviously he sailed past that last week. So I like going back there. And then what do they have without, I'm sure they've just hammered it, but what do they have Gibbs's receiving at now that, because that's what you and we've been attacking. Steve and I talked about, like, Gibbs and Montgomery, not only did they split the rushing, they've split the receiving this year. I think that's been the misconception on Montgomery. Montgomery got almost as many targets as Gibbs. So now if Gibbs is getting obviously full workload and the full receiving. Does anybody see what a
You
line
can still
is?
get on DraftKings. You can still get plus money at Gibbs at 40 plus 130.
Yeah, I don't mind that because again, they were getting each 25 easily lately. So
Yeah.
I mean, to me, conventional wisdom would say that I'm comfortable with him going 40 or 50. What were you gonna say,
Yeah.
Tyler?
I was going to say his line's at 32.5, but I think our guy Keg figured out a very, very sneaky way to get on these guys.
What do you
And
think?
that's through the first quarter receiving prop. Because you've seen a lot of the Detroit games where they would split the dump offs in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to split the dump offs with Craig Reynolds. So
No.
you might be able to alt his first quarter receiving yards up, and he might catch a little screen and take it 25 yards, and you might cash a bunch of big tickets in the first quarter. So I think he has a great look on that.
Okay, that's a good, shout out to Keg, Nuke the House. The guys do content over there. Check them out. But yeah, that's a great look at the first quarter for that. Because I obviously think Detroit's going to win this easily. I think Chicago looks like hot garbage. You don't think so? You don't think?
Lost a lot of
How many more
guys.
players can they lose, Meg, before this isn't the Detroit Lions we think it is?
I know, but how broken do the Bears look right now? They look so bad.
They almost beat this team like 2 weeks ago.
I know, but that...
And now it's outdoors. We know Goff doesn't like
the Goff kryptonite. Yeah.
You lose the bulldozing running back. That would have been nice for this matchup. I'm not sure you're going to be able to get like a pass rush on Caleb Williams at this point.
Do you certainly like the Bears spread then to keep this?
Yeah, I wouldn't. In my head, just the way I look at this too, the Bears were just the Bears were just +7 in Minnesota against Minnesota, who is fully healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're +6.5 at home against Detroit. Right in that teaser range for everyone to knock them down to a half point just for them to lose the game outright.
Wow, that would be just a body blow. I mean, I don't want to hear that because I don't want the Eagles to get the number 1 seed. And I'm a little concerned that with as you said, they are just, it's so sad because it was just
at some point,
felt like a team of destiny. Yeah, it felt like
just keep like, I get it. Like, we're just going to score and we're going to beat teams that way. But now what happens in your outdoors and Goff can't score?
Yeah, no, it makes me sad because they were such a fun team. They are such a fun team to root on. Dan Campbell's so fun. The whole team.
I think it's going to suck that I think they peaked in, I forget which exact week it was, but it was off the 2 weeks where they blew out Tennessee.
Oh, they had a couple.
Turned around in 50-piece Jacksonville.
Yeah,
I think that might have been the peak of Detroit.
Well, like you said, it's just not only do you need, just to, you just need that team of destiny to like everything to kind of bounce your way. Like everything seems to go for the Chiefs, but you also need it to be for health. And it's just, they have just been body blowed one after another. And how many more can they take? But to Nonsense Media in the chat gives ladders to the moon. Yes, I think so. And I talked about the receiving ladder. Tyler talked about how Keg from Nuke the House talked about the first quarter. I like certainly approaching it from that, but I just don't mind the 40 or 50 either. Definitely have some interest in that because we know he's so explosive too. If he's getting just more opportunities in general, we know how he can break them in the running or receiving game. So that's an interesting look. The only thing I'd say to that, Tyler, is, how I love doing the anti-correlated stuff. You're getting Bear on FanDuel. They do have the Detroit props up. If you did, you're getting -106 on +6.5. So if you did 3 Detroit props, pick whatever 3 are your favorite, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, someone else, whatever, and then do the +6.5, you're going to get that anti-correlated jump.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think that's if you like that look, then we like now Detroit's even more concentrated. That's how we hit that Raiders one on Black Friday. It was like Chiefs never cover. They did it against because Winston threw 100 interceptions last week. But Chiefs never cover. Let's do. It was a ginormous spread. Let's just do 3 Chiefs props and throw in the Raiders spread. And then I did one with the Raiders money line. I was like, yeah, you never know, and it almost happened. But I got the we hit a big I think it was 25-1. With 3 Chiefs props and Raiders spread, and you just get a massive anti-correlated boost there. So something to consider if you do believe, as Tyler said, that the Chicago could pull an upset or certainly keep it close. Ken Hicks, good to see you in chat, says Lions just need to keep the defense off the field. Yeah, I mean, it makes me think that they're going to have to, like, just, yeah, it's going to, you wonder if this could become, like, I could see the game script of this being weird, because the Lions defense is so rough. So those were my two early looks. Was Strange, Gibbs receiving. Trying to see if I mean, definitely, like, for Sunday night, I kind of have interest in multiple things. So I think Sunday night's going to be fun with both. We already talked Evans, but I'd say Baker too. I'd say Lamb. I think there's a lot in Sunday night to like. As far as early look, let me just make sure there's nothing else. I'd also say in the game with Detroit, you could look at Keenan Allen. Seems to be like the go-to target. And had the big game on Thanksgiving. So I don't mind Keenan Allen and JSN. If we just keep going back to JSN, he seems to completely, emerged as wide receiver one in Seattle. So those would be my other looks too. Any final thoughts, guys, before we move on to touchdowns?
Nope, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah. Again, this is early look, and I think we got a lot of good early looks here. Again, I'll read them quickly. Likely, BTJ, Mike Evans. I threw out Baker, London and Mooney, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, James Conner, Brenton Strange, Jahmyr Gibbs, JSN. So I think that's a fun early look. Now let's take an early look at anytime touchdowns, week 16. Tyler, who do you think scores this week? Who are you liking their prices?
We're going to go right back to the game we just talked about, Chicago-Detroit, and give me the guy that routed up this Detroit defense the first time. Give me Keenan Allen, plus 175. Yep. I think he's going to be open. I think they're going to be live in this game. I think they're going to put up points. So I like Keenan Allen. I don't hate Rome at plus 310 either. Somebody's catching a touchdown from Caleb Williams in this game. Don't mind either of those guys. I don't mind going back to Isaiah Likely when we talked about him in the first game, because I think he could just have the big play, end up running down the sideline and scoring the touchdown. And you're getting a huge price on him. Let me scroll back up and get that exact. He is coming in at plus 300 also. So those would be my couple guys. And then just one long shot. Where's he at on this list? I'm going to go back to Blake Corum, plus 4-1. He's getting carries. He's going to fall in the end zone eventually. I will be on it when he gets in there. I get 4 swings at it at 4-1.
There you go. That's true. Steve has a ton of Kyron left in best ball, so I know Steve's hoping to God that doesn't happen, and it's Kyron. But yeah, we will be cheering on certain guys, and I know that Steve has some Kyron left. Speaking of best ball, we got a former best ball champion in chat. Always good to see Felix Castro in chat. Good afternoon. So good afternoon to you as well. He's doing Kendra Miller. Felix, do you have some Kendra Miller left in your best ball portfolio? I like he's Kendra Miller. It looks like Alvin Kamara questionable, I assume, for Monday night.
They just said his groin injury is worse than they thought. So my guess is he's out. And they just announced Rattler starting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, everybody loves to see Felix in chat, and he says, "I sure do." LOL. Yeah, I can't help but like be drawn to my best ball guys this week. You're just like doubling down. Which, by the way, that did not work for me at all last week in the betting market necessarily, because my running backs who have taken me so far this year really let me down last week. But hopefully they and my teams can bounce back. Spread says the Rat is back. So yeah, it looks like Kendra Miller will be starting for the Saints then. All right, any other touchdowns for you, Tyler, before we go to Steve?
Nope, that's pretty much it for me.
All right, Steve, first look at anytime touchdowns that you like.
So the first guy I'll say is Drake London again. Terrible Giant secondary. I think Penix is really going to try and slice and dice. But a couple other ones that I am very much interested in. I do love, of course, Devontae Adams, but I'm going to go the other side and look at Puka Nacua, plus 100. Again,
to get even money there.
Rams, Jet secondary is not looking good. Mm-hmm. I'll put that out there. And, Nacua is definitely the leader, though. Cup, I expect to bounce back here, and the Rams just have so much to play for. So I expect them to, definitely put their foot in the gas and not. Seeing how the Jets' offense has shown more life the last couple of weeks, mm-hmm. I think the Rams come out swinging. Two other ones that I have some interest in. In Detroit game, obviously I love Jahmyr Gibbs, but it's minus 310.
It's minus 310. Yeah.
I will point to Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta last year had amazing red zone usage. This year, because of the effectiveness of Dave Montgomery and Gibbs, that just hasn't, come to fruition outside of the last time these two teams played, Thanksgiving Day, where Laporta had 2 touchdowns. I think no Dave Montgomery. I think plus 185 is a really good number on him.
Oh God, I hope that doesn't happen. I have him in some of my pods, and not this last year I had him. This year I don't have him, and I'm playing against him in some of my best ball pods. So I hope to God that doesn't happen. But I am worried about it because of this matchup. Yeah.
And the final one, or actually final 2, I'll point to. One, I'll give the same argument, just due to matchup. Trey McBride. I don't really want him for best ball, but they are trying to get him touchdowns.
Yeah,
it's not happening, but they are trying to get him a touchdown. So I think this is the type of game that you could definitely get one.
Yeah, they're going to go down swinging. It's still nice plus odds.
And yeah, it's plus 125 that I can see. And the one more of a long shot, but back to the change of quarterback. We'll see if it makes a big difference. It did down the stretch last year when Mason Rudolph came in and propelled George Pickens. Maybe he does the same thing to Calvin Ridley.
Good
It's
call.
bad, it's in a dome against a bad Colts team. Sure, they got 3 picks on Bo Nix, but Nix also carved him up for three touchdowns or whatever. Like Colts defense is not impressive. So I think Ridley, they'll give him a couple shots, and Nick Westbrook-Akeen's touchdowns were pretty much Will Levis. I don't know if he has the same touchdown equity with Mason Rudolph.
Okay. I need Chig to get in the end zone. If he could get one to Chig, I'd appreciate it. Let's get this bread in chat. Says, love you, Meg. Thanks for everything you do. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Let's get this bank. I agree. Obviously for Sunday night, we like Mike Evans too, right?
Yeah.
That's I think we're all in agreement there. And then I think a lot of duplicates of who we liked in the alt props, similar to how you said, London and Devontae Adams, Steve. I think we gotta like BTJ against the Raiders as well. So that's another one. I just love BTJ in general. Like you said, his rookie season has just been so fun to watch, especially as they lost pieces. He has just emerged. So, of course, there's a lot of running backs in decent spots or in great spots, but very, very juiced. Just scrolling through to see if there's anything else. You guys covered a lot of the good ones that, we're getting the nice plus odds, which we're looking for. We could always go back. We've kept trying it, but it hit a couple weeks. You could always go back to Tyreek Hill against San Francisco. Don't know what to make of that game with their motivations kind of dwindling too. Any other touchdowns before we move on to parlays, guys?
The only other one I might take a shot on is Tennessee's defense. AR could give you the ball at any moment.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. If there's a defensive touchdown. Actually, I think when I did a first look DFS lineup, I think I did put Titans as like a placeholder. So that's interesting that you said that. Wow, Nico Collins on Saturday is plus 175. I kind of like that for Saturday.
I love that because the Chiefs' pass defense has been terrible recently.
Yeah.
Again, last week they looked good, but I think me and Steve can go play coverage against James Winston and get some interceptions.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Winston was so bad last week. I like that for sure. Nico still has it. 2 touchdowns last week. So
yeah. The plus money you're getting there. And if I need to speak it into existence, I'll take another JMO touchdown at plus 185 too. Okay, so we covered anytime touchdowns. You guys have been crushing on like early look parlays. These are early look parlays, whether you want to do a same game parlay or parlay together, different alts or touchdowns or whatever. I'll go to you first, Tyler. What are you liking eyeing up early?
All right, Meg. So we're going to go right back to Saturday.
Yeah, let's do it.
Back to Pittsburgh. We're going to get a 7-1 ticket on this 4-legger.
Okay, I like that.
Russ under 213.5 passing yards because
oh my God,
who's he throwing the ball to?
Right.
And sneakily, this is another thing we had to talk about. Baltimore's pass defense has gotten a lot better over the last couple weeks. Nate Wiggins has come back. He's been a top 5 corner. Kyle Hamilton moved back to the safety spot. He's been playing a lot better. Their run defense has already been good. Humphreys is just now in the slot. Their defense is slowly coming together for the playoff run. I think I'm going to put them in to win the AFC, Meg. So I think Baltimore's live. But back to this parlay. Russ under 213.5. The Steelers' first drive result, punt.
Okay.
Steelers under 19.5 total points, and Isaiah Likely over 23.5 receiving yards get you 7-1.
Okay. I like it. So you said first drive punt, and then what was the other two? Likely over?
Likely over 23.5, and the Steelers under 19.5 points.
Okay. All right. So this is like an anti-Steelers one. This is like,
the offense can't move. We've seen it for 3 weeks. Why I think it's going to move this week.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I'm bummed for you because the whole Pickens thing is just a body blow. All right. Yeah. Jamie says in chat about speaking to Nico, Josh Williams is only allowing 0.14 fancy points per route, but Nico is a beast. Yeah. I mean, I think it's more, kind of betting on Nico and in that one, but that's a good call out. You always have the best stats and we appreciate it, Jamie. Nonsense Me said had under 19.5 for Steelers last week. Spread does not like you doubting Tomlin. But
you can't just bet him blindly. Did that last week, how to work out.
All right, Steve. So what's your parlay this week?
So I'm going to go a same game parlay, Rams Jets.
Okay.
And it's a lot of things that I talked about.
We almost hit the Jets Jags one last week, so let's see if we can get this one.
So this time I debated on some legs, but the easy ones for me are Rodgers 275 and Devontae Adams 90 plus.
Whoa. Okay.
I mean, you could get plus money at 80, but yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be the guy. I'm going to go Puka touchdown. I think he definitely gets in the box here. And I debated going Cup, debated going Kyron. I'm going to go Kyron. He's just getting so many carries in these important games. They're just featuring him quite a bit. And I'm going to go 90 plus for Kyron. That's 17-1. Doing it that you could obviously bump down like Kyron a little bit. You could bump down Devontae Adams a little bit, but I really like the Jet side of it. The Ram side, I think a couple guys are going to get there. I just don't know the best way to approach it.
Yeah. Okay. So Rodgers 275, Devontae 90, Kyron 90, Puka touchdown 17-1. That's a fun one too. And your Jets one almost hit last week. So let's see if we can run that back. I'm going to take a book from Tyler, or I'm going to take a page from Tyler's book here. I think Detroit will win, but I get his case for Bears keeping it close. And I just love a good anti-correlated parlay. So, now that the numbers will reflect it, but it's going to be baked in, but obviously things are condensing with David Montgomery out. So I'm going to go, this is mainly me speaking into existence too. JMO 60, receiving, Jahmyr Gibbs 154, it's plus 154 for 40 plus receiving. And then let me see what we can do. If you separate the rush receiving, you'll get more than doing the combined rush receiving, and him to get 100 yards. That's 12-1. You throw in the Chicago spread, it jumps to 34-1. So it's not crazy. I mean, you could even water down some of those if you think those are too wild, but basically it's Lions props and Bears spread. Because right now you're getting Bears 6.5 minus 105 on FanDuel. So yeah, it's just the whole anti-correlated where the books cannot comprehend that you're not even saying that the Lions lose. You're actually just saying it's within 6 basically. So I think that's a fun one. So, okay. So now we've covered alts, touchdowns, parlays. Now it's time to talk Thursday Night Football. We appreciate all you guys in chat. Make sure you hit that like button. But we appreciate all you guys for joining us, for jumping into chat. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. Again, all football season, we've had shows every day of the week, We will continue to throughout the rest of the football season. And check out the Dub Club free week link at the bottom or on the homepage of fanspeak.com. All right, guys, Thursday night football. I don't know what to make of this one. We got Broncos at Chargers, both playing for essentially the 6-7 seed in the AFC. Both have kind of not looked as good of late after looking pretty good midseason. Tyler, I'll go to you first. How do you see this game going?
This is an ugly one, Meg. I mean,
I know this is tough.
Ever since J.K. Dobbins went down, this LA Chargers team just doesn't seem the same. Like, they don't have the big chunk plays off the ground. They can't rely on the running game that much. They've just solely just went to Herbert, and Herbert's really only got one weapon.
Yeah.
Well, on the other side of the football field today just so happens to be the best corner in football. So I think his best weapon's pretty much just going to be out of the picture here.
Well,
so
I hope that if they keep him in the slot, though, does that keep him alive?
He might chase him around, Meg. They might know. Like, this is the
Why
only
did
thing
they not with
stop.
Judy? Blows my mind. I totally stayed away from Judy that game. What was it, 3 games ago when the Broncos played? I was like, I'm not touching Judy. I'm not touching Judy. I understand there was like the revenge factor, but somehow, how did he only cover him on like X amount of routes?
Yeah.
I guess they were just good about moving him around.
I think it was good about moving him around, but the other thing too is with Winston under center to Herbert here, and with the way Cleveland set up to the Chargers, Winston could have threw that ball to anyone. I know Judy was the one that dominated that game, but he'll go to Elijah Moore. He will go to these other guys. So Surtain just held down the side of the field. Where's Herbert going to go if McConkey's not open? Quentin Johnson can't catch. Stone Smart can only do so much. They really don't have anything else. So I think Denver's defense might look at that and go, we're just going to have him shadow him the whole game and force them to go somewhere else. And then you look at the other side of the ball. It's really just Cortland Sutton. They can't run the ball either.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the running games on both sides are terrible. Yeah.
Yet this total still sits in the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me the under 42.
Ooh.
I know it might just be I'm getting in front of a train after last week. Everyone wanted to be over, and we watched all the field goals get kicked. Now you get the game where it looks like it's going to go under. I might be getting in front of the train. We might be getting 70 tonight, but I just don't see where the points come from tonight. So I'm on the under.
Yeah, because I mean, again, both running games are brutal to watch, and yeah, I like the under call. So we'll see if that is your official pick when we do our parlay. Steve, how do you see this game going? And before we go to Steve, I do like Jamie's call out. His best bet for tonight, Bo Nix over 22.5 rushing. He got 60 in this matchup earlier in the year, though I will note of late he has not run as much. But as Jamie points out, Chargers are bottom 5 in defending the quarterback rush. Maybe he knows the success he had on the ground last time, goes back to that with his wheels over. It's only 22.5, like that call out, Jamie. And Felix says DJ Shark night. So for my best ball portfolio, I'll take a Josh Palmer night. But or hope McConkey gets loose somehow. But I do agree with Tyler that this game is very confusing because very hard to project with these defenses and with the way these offenses have been playing of late. So, Steve, how do you see it going?
Yeah. So what I will say is Chargers, and not just to Tyler's point, they haven't been the same without Dobbins. They cannot succeed in second halves. They can't come out strong, and sometimes they still win, like that Falcons game a couple weeks ago. But they did absolutely nothing in the second half. They did absolutely nothing this past week in the second half, even though they got a strong start against the Bucs in the first half. There's another game similar. So I think there's a big concern there is they just can't make pivots, and we've seen it a couple times where McConkey has these big first halves, but then nothing in the second half. So that is a worry. What I will say, both teams have playoff implications. Denver's in a much stronger position. So the Chargers being at home and more need to win this game because the Colts are still kind of on their heels.
Colts
I think that I agree, but Chargers have been sucking lately.
Yeah.
So, I just think Harbaugh gets them going, and I think they get the win.
Okay.
But I think it'll be close. I don't mind the under because I do think, Chargers will definitely play for field goals at times, and Denver's done that as well. And like you said, neither team having a good running game. It's tough to feel confident about short yardage situations and things of that nature to advance drives. So I'm going to take the Chargers in this, but I think it's close. Wouldn't be surprised if the under hits as well.
Okay, so you like the Chargers, don't mind the under. Tyler likes the under. Ken in chat, thank you for joining us again. Vidal popping in DFS. I assume Vidal's price pretty low in DFS. I haven't actually jumped to the DFS. Steve, have you built any DFS lineups yet?
I have a shell, but I didn't, didn't go deep.
Yeah. I know he had a long, I believe touchdown catch, but a long catch in their first game, I believe. But it's rough. So before we build our same game parlay, we'll see if these guys incorporate some of their looks at this game in the same game parlay. Who gets in the end zone first tonight? Tyler, who are you eyeing up for first touchdown tonight?
All right, I got a long shot.
Hopefully there is one. Last week we didn't have a first touchdown. If you want to bet that, you can bet that too.
Last week we technically didn't lose last week if you think about that.
Yeah.
But I'm going with a long shot here. Where is he at on this list? 23-1. Let me make sure that is the best number we can get on this guy. Let me check DK. Gotta scroll all the way back up. Let's see. 25-1. Give me Troy Franklin.
Oh, okay. Troy Franklin. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Because I assume that was on DK. Yeah, 23-1, 25-1 on DK. Very nice. That's Bo Nix's guy. Steve, who gets in the end zone first tonight? I actually have a long shot too, I think.
Will Disley's out again. I know Hayden Hurst is back, but I'm going to go back to Stone Smart. He's been fine. So 17-1 Stone Smart is what I'm seeing on DK.
Yeah, he's 20-1 on FanDuel.
There you go.
There you go. We're shopping it around for you guys. Ultimately, I think Sutton and McConkey are my favorites, but we're going to make it fun here. So I'm going to go. They get creative. They get Marvin Mims loose, whether it's from the backfield or like a long bomb like they had in that game. Was that the Browns game that he got loose? Yeah. So I'm going to go. He doesn't run a ton of routes, but when he's out there, they do find ways to get him involved. And now they're down a running back. So maybe they get him involved out of the backfield. Who knows? 21-1 is on FanDuel. I'd have to check the DK price, but Marvin Mims will be my long shot here for the Broncos. And our guy Felix has Hayden Hurst. Speaking of, he's going against you there, Steve. He's got Hayden Hurst as his first touchdown. And Jamie says Sutton longest receptions 19.5. He's hit this 11 of 14 games. The key is the Chargers can't stop the deep ball, 8th worst in the NFL. Jamie always brings the heat with the data, and I love it. Love to see it. That's a great look. Love that, Jamie. Thank you. I'm definitely going to keep that in mind. I like that a lot. We know that Sutton is Bo Nix guy. Troy Franklin's his got the shower narrative, but Sutton has been his guy. So now let's build a same game parlay, guys. We each pick a leg. Let's try to get home. The bounce back last week. Last week our parlay actually was actually I can't remember. One of the parlays we had in Dub Club almost made it still, despite a terrible, awful game where there was no touchdowns. But we're going to get back to the winning ways because we have definitely hit multiple this year of these Thursday night same game parlays. We each pick a leg. Tyler, what do you like for this game tonight? Are you sticking with your under or are you taking something else?
I'm going to take a prop in this one. I'm going to go with, I think he's going to get a lot more carries in this game just because Javonte Williams hasn't done much. Jaleel McLaughlin's out. This Audric Estime.
Okay.
His line's at 27.5. I think he can get over that against the Chargers defense. I think if any team's playing with the lead, I think it's probably Denver. So I'm going to lean on their running back and think he gets over 30 yards in this one.
Okay. So are you going to go with the 27.5 line?
Yeah, 27.5.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, no, that is some low, a low line. And, with Sean Payton, I think Estime was like his guy, in different points of the season. So as long as he hangs on to the ball, I like that call. So what do you got, Steve?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Cortland Sutton. 70 plus is plus 110 on DraftKings. So I'm going to go with that.
I like that. All right. You know what? I'm going to stick with. Let me see if they have rush receiving for him before I call it out. They don't. I was going to check and see if they had Mims rush receiving because I could see them using him out of the backfield too, as I just said. But I'm going to go off the whole first touchdown thing and see if they can get Mims kind of involved in creative ways. So I'm going to go Marvin Mims over 25.5. I mean, I think you could, if you think they could get him involved. I think he's had 3 to 5 receptions the last few games. And obviously we know sometimes they can get him involved deep. It kind of feels like feast or famine with him. So, I mean, I don't mind if you wanted to take an alt on him, but for this one, we're just going to play a little closer to the best. So this is a very Denver themed one, which I'm
going to switch my Meg.
Okay. What do you got?
I found the prop I like better. Give me Stone Smart over 29.5 receiving yards.
I like that. I like that too. I like that. I mean, I like the other one too, but I like Stone Smart. That way we're balancing it out a little since we do think the Chargers can win this game at home. Steve and I both did Denver props. I like that we're balancing out, giving a little Chargers side love there too. So, okay. So we got Sutton 70 plus, Marvin Mims over 25.5, Stone Smart 29.5. I'll check it on DK too, and I'll put it in wherever the number is better, quite honestly. And then that's what I'll share on Twitter. But that is going to be our same game parlay. I'll post on Twitter after the show, again, wherever the odds are better. And then it'll, of course, be included in our Dub Club post, which will go out here in the next hour. Ken says any kicker props. I usually don't do the kicker props. I thought about it. I got a free drafters ticket today for a pick'em, and I almost did Dicker for 7+.5 receiving. I didn't end up. You guys got any kicker props that you're leaning in? I mean, 2 good kickers here.
I haven't really looked at kickers. It's definitely not something I focus on too often, but I do. Trying to look on draft.
I can see both kind of stalling. The offense is like get moving but stalling, and
yeah.
I think both kickers are live for their lines. For their if their lines around 7.5 fantasy points or whatever.
If you're looking at it
from something like that,
here's the thing. I just looked for in terms of actual props.
Right.
Field goal was made. Dicker over 1.5 is -190. So I'd probably approach it the 7.5. But he's gonna.
Yeah, if it's something on an underdog, I don't have that legal for me. So if it was like an underdog or something like that, where you're doing those types of props. So, okay. So again, this will be posted on Dub Club, posted on Twitter. Sign up for Dub Club. Check it out for a free week. And if you like it, it's only $45 for the rest of the NFL season through the Super Bowl. All right, guys, this has been another fun show. As always, final thoughts for the people for week 16, Tyler.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun week. I think we found a lot of winners, so just lock those in. Lock this Thursday night win in because I think that one's definitely a winner. Stone Smart's catching the yards. Marvin Mims is going to catch a 90-yarder, and then Cortland Sutton's going to do his thing.
Do his thing. I like it. Steve, final thoughts for week 16.
Yeah, I'm so I will say, unfortunately, the Monday night game being the Packers-Saints, I probably won't be doing much because I worry about blowout central in that game, especially with no Kamara and the rat attack back. So give me I'm going to play more on Sunday and Saturday for that reason. So I just want to throw that as a PSA for everyone. So I like the games we talked about Sunday. Definitely the Jets-Rams game. I love targeting Jags versus Raiders, a couple of these others, Lions. For sure in a good spot, I feel like. I like what we talked about. And I think there's, again, some of these teams, and not all the props are out there with the new quarterbacks or guys maybe looking to come back, or bounce back. And just one final thing, I was really tempted to do Cooper Kupp because him coming off of 0, I feel like his line is lower than it should be against a really bad Jets secondary right now.
Yeah, so look for some of those artificially lower lines or guys, recency bias. No, I like that. But Steve makes a good point. We got Saturday, we got Sunday. Again, we'll have everything for Dub Club for Saturday, for Sunday. Final thoughts from the people. Ken says, thanks, guys. Good stuff. Jamie says, final thoughts, just win. Nobody likes a loser. Agree. So let's just win. Let's cash some of these tickets. Let's cash this ticket, as Tyler said, tonight that we just built. So this has been fun as always. If you're still in the best ball streets, good luck. If you're obviously you're in the betting streets, good luck. Have a wonderful and profitable week 16. For Tyler, for Steve, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.